Hello everyone, today we're going to round off the numbers to the nearest hundred and thousand. What do you know about rounding off? Rounding off means rounding a number to the nearest whole number. That means we are rounding off a number to an expecting value. That means if someone wants to make it to 20 by 20, it would be a multiple of 20. If you're rounding off a number to the nearest 100, it should be a multiple of 100. For that, we have to consider the places of a number. Can you see in this number 678, we can expand it as 600 plus 70 plus 8. So, for 600, there are 6 hundreds. In 70, there are 7 tens. For 8, there are 8 ones. These are some examples for hundreds multiples. 1 into 100, 100. 2 into 100, 200. 3 into 100, 300. 4 into 100, 400. 5 into 100, 500, 6 into 100, 600, 7 into 100, 700, 8 into 100, 800, 9 into 100, 900, 10 into 100, 1000, 11 into 100, 1100, and in this way we can write any whole number to the multiple of 100. So when we're rounding off a number to the nearest 100, is the last two numbers are 0. Can you see in this example, in each and every example, at least the last two digits are zeros. First, we are going to round off the numbers to the nearest 100. When we're rounding off a number into the nearest 100, we have to consider the 10th place. If the 10th place is less than 50, the value is round down to the nearest 100. If the 10th place is 50 or greater than 50, that value is rounded up to the nearest 100. Let's see how to round off a number to the nearest 100. 8,567. I told you that when we are rounding off a number, we have to consider the place values. So, how to take the place values? It's 8,000 plus 500 plus 60 plus 7. When we are rounding off a number to the nearest 100, we have to consider the 10th place. So, what is the 10th place of 8,567? It is 60. That means 6 into 10 is 60. So, the 10th place is 60. Okay, just keep it in mind and now tell me what are the nearest 100 values for 8,567. They are 8,500 and 8,600. That means 8,567 is in between 8,500 and 8,600. And what is the midway of 8,500 and 8,600? It's 8,550. The 10th place of 8,567 is 60. Can you remember I told you that when you're rounding off a number to the nearest 100, we have to consider the 10th place, and if the 10th place is equal or greater than 50, it should be round up. So in this question, our 10th place is 60. It is greater than 8,550. So it's in between 8,550 and 8,600. So we are rounding up this number to the nearest 100. So the answer for this is 8,600. Let's see another question. 532. So now tell me what are the place values for this. It's 500 plus 30 plus 2. And the 10th place of 432 is 30. Okay, what are the nearest hundred values for 532? They are 500 and 600. 532 is in between 500 and 600. And what's the midway of 500 and 600? It's 550. Our 10th place is 30. That means it's less than 50. So 532 is in between 500 and 550. When we are rounding off a number to the nearest hundred, if the 10th place is less than 50, we have to round down to the nearest hundred. So when we are rounding off 530 to the nearest hundred, the answer is 500. It's because it is the lower hundred value of 532. This is the last question. I'm going to round off to the nearest hundred. 150. What's the 10th place of 150? That's 5 into 10, 50. 50 is the 10th place. So what are the nearest 100 values for 150? It's 100 and 200. 150 is in between 100 and 200. So what is the midway of 100 and 200? It's also 150. It's the same exact number we are going to round off. So can you remember I told you, when we are rounding off a number to the nearest hundred, if the 10th place of this value is 50 or greater than 50, we are rounding up. So in this question, it is exactly 50. So if it is 50, we have to round up. So when we are rounding up this number, it is 200. I think you understand how to round off a number to the nearest hundred. Now we are going to round off the numbers to the nearest thousand. When we are rounding off a number into the nearest thousand, we have to consider the hundredth place. If the hundredth place is less than 500, the value is round down to the nearest hundred. If the hundredth place is 500 or greater than 500, that value is rounded up to the nearest hundred. Let's see how to round off a number to the nearest thousand. 6,487. It's same for each and every question. We have to consider the place values when we are rounding off a number. So when we are rounding off 6,487, it's 6,000 plus 400 plus 80 plus 7. So when we are rounding off a number to the nearest thousand, we have to consider the hundredth place. So what's the hundredth place of 6,487? It is 400. 4 into 100 is 400. So the hundredth place is 400. What are the nearest thousands for 6,487? They are 6,000 and 7,000. That means 6,487 is in between 6,000 and 7,000. What's the midway of 6,000 and 7,000? It's 6,500. Our number is 6,487. It's less than 6,500. So when we are rounding off a number to the nearest thousand, if the hundredth place is less than 500, we have to round down to the nearest thousand. So when we are rounding off 6,487, its hundredth place is 400 and it's less than 500. It's less than the midway. So we have to round down to the nearest thousand. So the answer for 6487 is 6000. Let's see another question. 1855. What are the place values for 1855? They are 1000 plus 800 plus 50 plus 5. So what's the hundredth place? It's 8 into 100. 800 is the hundredth place. And what are the nearest thousand values for 1855? They are 1000 and 2000. 1855 is in between 1000 and 2000. And what's the midway of 1000 and 2000? It's 1500. 1855 is greater than 1500. So our value is in between 1500 and 2000. When we are rounding off a number to the nearest thousand, if the hundredth place is equal or greater than to 500, we have to round up to the nearest thousand. So our upper thousand value is 2000. When we are rounding off 1855, we have to round up to the nearest thousand, and its answer is 2000. This is the last question we're gonna discuss. 3500. And what's the hundredth place of 3500? It's 500. What are the nearest thousand values for 3500? They are 3000 and 4000. And what's the midway of 3000 and 4000? It's the same number we wanted to round off. That's this 3500. I told you that when we're rounding off a number to the nearest thousand, if the hundredth place of that number is 500 or greater than 500, we have to round up to the nearest thousand. So here it's the same 500, so we have to round up. So when we are rounding off 3500 to the nearest thousand, answer is 4000. So I think you got an idea of how to round off a number to nearest 100 to nearest thousand, and for any number I think you got an idea how to round off. And if you have any doubt of this section, you can ask it from comment, and I'll give you some problems in discussion. You can try it and you can post it in the comments. I'll answer it. Thank you so much for attending.